Well, hello and welcome to this week's episode where I'm going to be tackling the topic of how to attract and keep lasting love. This is a question for the ages. Everybody wants to know. Many of you have written into me because you all know that Real Love Revolution season is in full swing and has been. And I also want to remind you to keep your eyes peeled for our More Love Meditation experience that is coming your way. You'll be able to sign up, I believe, in 1 week from now. So it's going to be happening in January. I'm so incredibly excited. Brand new. 10 days of beautiful meditations for you, basically based on what you shared with me and told me were your biggest challenges around love. So, moving into this week's episode, why does it seem so hard to create lasting love? I have so many high-functioning clients and women in my groups who can manage anything. They're basically running the world, and yet they can't seem to figure out this particular piece of their life. So, the first few questions that I have for you are going to illuminate how you feel about yourself. So the first question is, do you believe that you're worthy of your own time, of your own love, of your own money? Do you feel guilty when you spend time on yourself or spend money on yourself? Do you ever just dress up for no reason, basically for yourself? Right? Do you treat yourself with love, with care, with respect, the same way that you treat other people that way? And I really want you to think about that, because you might want a reaction, in a reaction way, say, well, yes, of course I do, but do you? What does your inner voice say? What language does that inner voice use if you make a mistake? If you think you've done something wrong, right? So whether you're in a relationship or not, this episode is for you. If you're looking for love, this episode is for you. And if you're in a relationship but you know it could be better, or you're not sure if you should stay, this is for you as well. Because you guys, all of us know the truth is that the most important relationship you will ever have in your entire life is with yourself. So I like to say that real self-love is the only path to any other kind of healthy love. Because when we don't have that self-respect or that self, where we don't hold ourselves in high esteem, we inevitably find people who don't either. So I want you to think about your relationship with yourself as the bar, right? That really sets the bar for how other people will treat you in relationships. So if you work yourself to death, if you don't rest when you're tired, if you overcommit, if you overgive, you will, trust me, attract people who expect you to do those things. So the very beginning of attracting lasting love is straightening out your relationship with yourself. So it may sound weird, some of the things that I'm going to suggest that you do in this episode, but my feeling is, what do you have to lose? Right? What do you have to lose? If you are seeking better, sort of high-level love in your life, or more love in your life, I want you to open your mind and open your heart and decide that maybe doing something different outside of the box is exactly what you need to do. So, first of all, let's look at how you treat yourself on a daily basis. Do you ever go outside the box and take yourself out to dinner? Regularly, do you run yourself a beautiful bath, buy a ticket to go see theater by yourself? Do you check in with yourself on a regular basis about how you feel, about what you need, if you're thirsty, if you have to go to the bathroom, if you're hungry? Or are all of those things afterthoughts? Do you have people in your life who are toxic or who treat you badly? I want you to really think about who is in that front row. Because although it's very easy when we have crappy or toxic people in our life to blame them for their bad behavior, and hey, they are responsible for their bad behavior, don't get me wrong. But the reality is that it's your life. That is your front row that those people are sitting in. How'd they get in there? Why are you allowing them to stay in that position of power if they treat you crappy? So I want you to proactively set these seeds of self-love. So don't wait until your week gets so stressful or that you're so crazy busy that you have no time to do it. I want you to really think, what can you do every day for 7 days? So it's just this little self-love challenge that I'm giving you that would up the level of the self-love that you experience and that you feel. Because what I find is that so many of my clients and the women in my courses, they have all of this love, like endless love and compassion for other people. Anyone here? Does that sound familiar to anyone? But not a lot of love, compassion, or consideration for themselves. So let's look at what some of these self-love actions can be. Journaling is a self-love action. Writing down how you feel, taking a moment to stop and think about how you feel. The second thing could be treating yourself to something nice, as I said before. Going out to dinner, watching a movie that you want to see instead of working late. Just treating yourself the same way that you would think about what kind of a gift would this other person like. Because I also find that so many of the women who are in my tribe are amazing, like master level gift givers. And yet when I say, what's the last nice thing you've done for yourself? Crickets. Nobody has that much to say. Oh, I went to Soul Cycle. Yeah, okay, working out until you're dripping in sweat. Maybe that's a gift. Maybe not. Because that also goes on the list of things that we check off. So for this little self-love challenge, I want you to choose things that you don't normally do and that actually make you feel loved, considered, happy. And listen, what you guys end up doing, that's all going to be very particular to you, but I want you to think about it. And now let's go back in history a little bit. What did you view? So who were the role models in your life growing up? And what did they show you about self-care? Did your mother or your primary caregiver take time out for herself or for himself? Did they do things simply because they wanted to or because it felt good? I never once saw my mother get a manicure, get a massage, buy anything for herself, even very, very, very rarely. So self-care in that way was something that I learned in my teens and in my 20s, basically, because I wanted it, but I felt bad about doing it in the beginning. I felt guilty, like I'm being selfish or I'm being, I guess, just selfish. And I think I just had to get to the point of realizing that I really deserved my own consideration. And this is what I want to inspire you to do. So if you didn't have a great role model around self-care, that's okay, because you can still create it, or around self-love, because it isn't just doing something nice for yourself. Other things that you can do on one of these 7 days is draw a boundary with someone who you need to draw a boundary with. Have a difficult conversation that you've been putting off, but that you know you need to do and down deep you really want to do. So it doesn't have to be just 7 days of light self-love. You know, we can hit, some of those days can be deep things as well, but as we decode the past, because this is where so many of the answers are, and where the original seeds of self-love or self-care being selfish, or meaning that you're self-centered, or meaning that you are conceited or that you are self-obsessed. There's all of these, they're just incorrect, I don't know what we call them. They're just false beliefs. They're limiting beliefs around what self-care and self-love is. And if you take one thing away from this episode today, I want it to be that self-love is not selfish. It really isn't. And what ends up happening is that if you self-sacrifice, if you prioritize other people above yourself endlessly, if you never get your needs met because you don't even know how to, where do you think you end up in life? What happens? Do you end up feeling satisfied and fulfilled? Definitely not. Do you end up feeling like people owe you something because of how you chose to sacrifice? Yeah. Do you feel martyred and entitled? You do. And if you can just take away the fact that self-love and self-care, this is really the foundation for all other lasting love. Because you have to be able to sort of get high on your own supply when it comes to love. Because when we're looking for love, when we're seeking other people filling that spot for us, it can only go in one direction, which is bad. Because it's an impossible task. No matter how much another person loves us, it's not the same as self-love. Nobody can love us enough if we don't love ourselves, right? They're two different things. And if we're looking at what does self-love really look like, choose for these 7 days of upping your self-love, your self-care. Choose things that just simply make you feel loved. Spending time with people who lift you up. To the people who are the cheerleaders in your life. Allowing yourself downtime. For so many of my over-functioning, over-giving, overworked women in my tribe, just allowing yourself 2 hours on a weekend to do nothing, to read People magazine. That's definitely one of my day 4 is read People magazine for 2 hours. Why? Because it makes me feel good, because it's mindless, because it's relaxing. So you don't have to read People magazine if you don't like it, but do something that actually is restorative. Because the better that you get at treating yourself with kindness and love, the more you will attract others in your life, romantic and otherwise, who will do the same. If you're already in a relationship, how can you up the love or the quality of love in that relationship? The first thing is to up the quality of your self-love. Because then you're not really looking to your partner, at least not initially, to change anything. You're basically looking to yourself. And you can do it. So I really want you to do this 7-day self-love challenge. Don't worry, I have it all in a little downloadable cheat sheet for you. So you can just put in your name and your email address. Those of you who are watching this, just click the link on YouTube. Hello, my YouTubers. If you're listening on the podcast, hello, my hello freedomers. Don't forget to get the cheat sheet so you can actually do it. And then I'm going to ask you to leave me a comment and tell me what you did for those 7 days so that I can witness you. And don't forget to keep your eyes open for our beautiful More Love meditation experience. Because seriously, people, life is challenging enough. Who the hell needs another challenge? I don't. And if you like this episode, please share it on your social media platforms. You can just forward it to anyone you think who might need it or who might like it. I hope you have an amazing week, and I cannot wait to see what you do for yourself. And as always, take care of you.